Monday morning, tired of all the shame. 0 wins, no luck, but this would change the game. He took down Adam, finally got his win at last. Nobody saw it coming, it just happened so fast. Now Will's talking playoffs, yeah, he's dreaming big. But the league just laughed and said, no chance, kid. Still a win's a win, and the droughts finally done. One for the record books, will finally won. Wrapping up week 6, rolling into week 7. The fantasy gods smiled down from heaven. Sean finally lost, the league went wild. It felt so good, like Christmas as a child. Raise your glass, it's a brand new dawn. The streak is over, the rain is gone, and Will got his first. Oh, what a twist! Week 6 magic can't top this. Jeremy barely hit 98, but that's all it took to seal Josh's fate. Josh is slipping, yeah, he's losing control. Too much NASCAR stealing his soul. Now Jeremy's even sitting 3-3, while Josh is drowning in that fantasy sea. And Clint keeps cruising, he's 5-1. Jake took another loss, ain't that fun? Ben's 4-2, the commish feels proud, while Sean's low score barely drew a crowd. Wrapping up week 6, rolling into week 7. The fantasy stars are split in the heavens. Sean finally lost, the league went insane. The group chat blowing up with champagne. Raise your cup, the curse is gone. 6 weeks strong, now the streak's withdrawn. And Will's got hope, but don't resist. Week 6 glory's a 1-week gift. Jay dropped 161, the week's top score. Sean's dream season ain't so pure no more. 3rd most points, but no W. Karma came collecting, it was long overdue. Des put up 82, what a mess. That Barkley trade's got him in distress. Ian stuck by with luck on his side. 3-3 now, riding the tide. Sean finally lost, can you hear that cheer? The commish been waiting all damn year. 6 weeks straight, we've had to hear him boast. Now Ben's grinning wide, raising his toast. Finally he said, the balance restored. The league feels right, the fans aren't bored. Still number 1, but Clint's close behind. 1 more loss and he'll lose that shine. Say it louder, in case you forgot. Sean finally lost. Finally lost, in case it's in the books. The dust is cleared, the cheers will last, just as we feared. The chaos came, the mighty fell. Sean's first loss rang like a victory bell. Now we're moving on, week 7's here. Fresh matchups, cold beer, and a little fear. So good luck, y'all, may your lineup shine bright. May your stars go off on Sunday night. But one last thing before we're done. Good luck to everyone, but not you, Sean.
Oh, good times. And here we are, week 7 already, getting darn near halfway of the regular season, and starting to look here at our week 7 predictions. But first, before we talk about week 7, let's celebrate what happened in week 6, shall we? Couple of big things to talk about that the intro song captured for us. But let's scroll down. Let's take a look, shall we? I'm sorry, scroll up. 2 big wins that happened last week. We'll start with Will. Will got his first win of the year. He beat Adam, who was previously 4-1. One of the biggest upsets of the year. Adam was projected to win by a good amount. But Will's, he was projected to score 107 points and scored 160. And let's scroll down and see Jacobs scoring 32. Metcalf scoring 19. Wow, what a great trade and how that turned out. So congrats, Will. You're 1-5, but hell, you finally got a win. And now if we look at the rankings, right, we don't have any winless teams. But you know what we also don't have any of? We don't have any undefeated teams either. Let's take a look at that matchup. So we had Jay versus Sean. And this is probably the biggest news of the week, or at least for me, as you can tell what was captured into that intro song, that almighty Sean here, who was winless 5-0, or sorry, undefeated at 5-0 throughout the season here, suffered his first loss. He scored 143.84 points, and you still lose. I mean, just like the song said, right? It's long overdue. So a great win by Jay. A ton of points, 161. I mean, we can scroll down and take a look. I mean, it was across the board. With last week, Chase and Robinson, Scattaboo, just defense, just everywhere. Jay had points, and of course you have to when you're going to score 161 points. So great win by Jay. Fantastic that you took down the reigning champ and gave him his first loss on the year. And if we're trying to keep track, right, of my predictions of how everything went last week, we'll take a look at that. I picked Will over Adam, so I picked this upset. I said Will had 2 new players coming and, on his team after bye weeks, and that was going to help him and get his first win, and he certainly did that. So that put me 1-0. I also picked Jeremy to beat Josh, which that did happen. Josh only scored 77 points, and that's tough to win. In fact, I don't know who would have beat. He would have beaten John, and that's it. But you didn't play John. You played Jeremy, and you lost. We also picked Clint over Jake. Didn't say much about that matchup. We just knew it was going to happen. And look at Clint, pretty much scoring almost exactly to what was projected. And he was projected way more than Jake. Therefore, got the easy win. I did pick Sean over Jay, and now I kind of feel bad about that. Like, this was the win, the loss exactly happened the way that I hoped it would happen. And, but of course, I said Sean still had the strong team. I think that, this wasn't Jay's week. He wasn't going to be able to win because if you look at it, Sean scored a ton of points and that's exactly what I predicted. But Jay, bam, scored more, got the win. You know what? I'll take that as a miss on my prediction. So that put me at 3-1. But speaking about disappointment, that would be this next matchup. Yeah, I picked Dez to win. Oh, Dez, you scored 82 points. Let's see the notes I had for Ian. I said, I know this is Ian's week to score a lot, but not this week. Well, if you look at it, he didn't score a lot. He only scored 89 points. Damn it, Dez, you're not going to win with scoring 82 points. So I got that one wrong. Ian got the win, put me at 3-2. But the last one I got right, which I love when I pick myself to win, and I do win. Little shameful to only win, with scoring 98 points, but that's how this thing works, right? I didn't play Will, I didn't play Adam, I didn't play Sean, I didn't play Jay. I played John, who only scored 72 points. I'll take it. And that put me at 4-2 on my predictions, just like my overall record in this league. So speaking of that, rankings, let's take a look. So we just mentioned, right? We now do not have an undefeated team. Sean drops to 5-1, tied with Clint now at 5-1. So they're both battling still for that number 1 spot, or really number 1 and number 2 to get those bye weeks as we head into the playoffs. Got plenty of time for that still. A lot of teams fighting for that. But it was just nice to see, with Sean losing, that it puts that a little bit closer to all of us that are either at 5-1 or 4-2, or heck, even 3-3, to know that there's still a chance that we could grab one of those bye weeks, if not that number 1 spot. 3 teams tied at 4-2. You've got Adam, Jay, and myself. It's all based on points scored, and of course, I don't score a lot of points, but Jay and Adam, they have, and that's why they're ranked ahead of me, of course. So they are 3, 4, and 5, and then sitting right now at that number 6 spot in the playoffs would be Jeremy at 3-3. Talk about coming a long way, right? Jeremy was, winless with Will not that long ago. I remember it seemed like one of our intro videos that we made were pretty much making fun of both him and Will at not having any wins and pretty much your season being done and playoffs looking like a long shot. And here it is. He's won 3 in a row. He's now sitting in that 6th spot and could be looking strong for the playoffs. We've got 2 other 3-3 teams, again, based on points. They're on the outside looking in at John, who barely scored any points this week. Ian, up and down season, but sitting at 3-3. Josh at 2-4, and then Jake, Dez, and Will all at 1-5. And it's funny, you look at these teams, right, and you're like, ugh, Dez, Jake, so disappointed to be 1-5. But then you look at Will, who's super excited to be 1-5 because he finally got a damn win and maybe headed in the right direction. So, but before we jump into predictions for week 7, let's review a trade that went down. Let me see if I can pull it up here. All right, so there was a trade between John and Sean. We talked a little bit about it in the group chat. John needed depth, and if you look at this trade, that was got to be the reasoning behind him accepting this. If I remember right, this was Sean initiated, which most trades are, and John hit that accept button, and got Debo, Swift, Pitts, Gainwell, some depth, got a running back. Can score a good amount. Samuel, who has potential. But what he gave up, he gave up Justin Jefferson. And I don't even know if there's any other player on that or team that John gave up that's even worth mentioning. It was just giving up Jefferson, which I believe that was all Sean was thinking about. So if we look at it, like we said, John needed depth, and Sean, the man's 5-1, even with a loss. He's not worried about the bye weeks. He's not worried about depth as of right now. He's just focused on, a strong starting lineup for the playoffs. And I think this trade definitely makes his team stronger once it's all said and done, once he gets through the bye weeks. Maybe he takes another loss or so because he doesn't have the depth that he once had, but I don't think he cares. Like he did last year, right? He barely made the playoffs, but it shows all you need to do is make the playoffs and have the right team, have a hot team, and outscore your opponents. But for this one, as we review, definitely say that Sean won this trade. And I'll apologize to John. Sorry, this trade didn't make the intro song. We're very limited on characters and words that we can put in the intro song. It was all in my recap that I have on there, but only so much can get pulled into there. So it didn't make it. But trust me, if this trade comes back to haunt you, which I think it will, there's plenty of opportunity to make fun of you between now and towards the rest of the season. So I'm sure that there's still time to for this trade to make it into the intro song. So don't you worry. But we just wanted to talk about that, review that as, again, big news in the league of what went down last week, along with Sean getting his first loss and Will getting his first win on the year. So, all right, let's jump in. Week 7 predictions. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? I'll tell you right here. First one, John versus Adam. It's unfortunately already picked for Adam to win. That's exactly what I'm going to say as well. Adam's team's just too strong. He's 4-2, probably should be 5-1 if he would have played anybody else last week. John only scored 1 point off his defense. The man puts too much faith in Pittsburgh, which, playing the Bengals, right? 2-3 weeks ago, that probably would have been a great start. But, man, all-star, Pro Bowl, Flacco now taking over for the Bengals was a different story. And I watched that game, which I'm assuming most of you did, and watching the Bengals offense actually come to life. And we'll talk a little bit more, about that too as we get into some of these other predictions down here that, some of those other players scored already a good amount based on that Thursday night performance. But based on all that, I think Adam gets the win and an easy win this week. Next, Clint versus Jeremy. Clint, 5-1, one of the strongest teams in the league. Jeremy, 3 in a row. But what's the difference here? It says there's a 20-point gap already. And it's what's sitting right here in that wide receiver mark with that big old O by it. So Puka is out for the week. And I think without him, I can't see Jeremy having a path to win. Even if he puts in, anybody on his bench, let's just see an average point of a wide receiver that he has, 8. Yeah, it's not going to close the gap. I don't think it's going to make a difference. Clint has had a strong team all year. I think he continues to win and wins fairly easy this week as well. That would move him to 6-1. Next, Josh versus Jake. Ugh. 2-4 versus 1-5. I mean, these two guys, I can picture right now, instead of watching football, I've got Josh, out there watching cars wreck, and Jake fixing a car that he had wrecked. But someone's got to win out of this matchup. If we've got to pick somebody, Sleeper says it's Josh. We'll go with Josh. We say Josh gets the win here and moves. That would move him to 3-4. So, still small win streak could put him right back into that playoff race. So, all right, scrolling down, man. Ian versus Sean, 3-3 versus 5-1. Mr. Inconsistency. Every week, you don't know what you're going to get from Ian's team. You do know what you're going to get from Sean's team, who scores a lot of points. This could be the biggest upset in fantasy football history. Ian, if you're able to pull this off, I mean, you're projected right now to lose by 36 points. I mean, this would be a huge, not only upset, but just it would be one of the biggest wins this year, maybe in history. I'll just go ahead and say it now. Ian, if you're able to pull off this win and somehow beat Sean this week, man, that whole intro song will be 100% dedicated to you and this win. Well, I mean, we would sprinkle in a little bit that Sean lost and celebrate that again. But man, the intro song would be all about you, Ian, if you were able to somehow win this week. But since I'm predicting to try to be correct, I can't go with Ian here. I think Sean, as we all know, too strong of a team, scores too many points, will cruise to an easy win this week. And then next, we've got Jay versus Dez. I've got in my notes here, it's already over. I mean, hell, Jay's already scored more points than probably a team or two may even in this league. Maybe even more than what Dez will score this week. And if we look at it, like we said on that Thursday game, Flacco bringing the Bengal offense back to life. Chase, 16 catches, 161 yards, a touchdown, 23 targets. Ridiculous, which I'm sure is what Dez said. Is he probably turned off the game if he was watching somewhere in the middle second quarter and said, "This is stupid. I hate football. I'm out. Bengals, this is awful. What a terrible trade. Who trades a quarterback?" All that kind of stuff that I'm sure I would say if I was playing Jay as of right now. But you know what? I'm not. So, yeah, we give the easy victory to Jay. He also had Aaron Rodgers, 24 points, 4 touchdowns. Yeah, Dez is not going to overcome that. So Jay gets the easy win this week. And then myself versus Will. Will, enjoy the win last week. You deserve it. That gets you to 1-5. But that win streak, yeah, it ends this week. That trade that you made that we were all talking about, Metcalf, then bam, he only gives you 8 points, which I love because, going against when I was looking at this matchup, in my head, I'm like, Warren, you just have to equal Metcalf. Just don't get outscored by him. And not only did he keep up with Metcalf, man, he scored a lot more points, an 11-point cushion that's on there, which has pointed me to right now having what looks like to be a comfortable lead, comfortable win. Scrolling down on Will's team, yeah, I just don't see where he's going to get the points from. Jacobs, sure. Arizona, sure. That's probably it. I still feel pretty good. Baker, McCaffrey. Yeah, with the rest of the team, kicker, possibly defense. It's going to be another week where I don't score a ton, but it doesn't matter. Again, if you outscore your opponent, that's all that matters, and you win. So I'm saying that I get the win this week, and I move to 5-2. So there you have it. There's our winners. There's our losers. If you want to recap, our winners this week will be Adam, Clint, Josh, Sean, Jay, and myself. So next week, as we had said, right, this would finish week 7, which is for the most part halfway through our fantasy season of 14 regular season weeks. We will have a special video then next week, and I don't know if it's going to be all in one video, make it long, or maybe we'll split it up and do 2 separate videos, which probably would be the way to go. But we'll go through some team rankings, grades, and then new playoff predictions, as it's been a while since we've talked playoff predictions, and a lot has changed since beginning of the season, and hell, a lot has changed since the first couple of weeks of the season as well. So, all right, there it is. There's your recap and predictions for week 7. Good luck, everyone, as we enter to the new week. Of course, good luck to everyone, but Sean.
Sean finally lost, can you hear that cheer? The commish been waiting all damn year. 6 weeks straight, we've had to hear him boast. Now Ben's grinning wide, raising his toast. Finally he said, the balance restored. The league feels right, the fans aren't bored. Still number 1, but Clint's close behind. One more loss and he'll lose that shine. Say it louder, in case you forgot, Sean finally lost. Finally lost, in case it's in the books. The dust is cleared, the cheers the last, just as we feared. The chaos came, the mighty fell. Sean's first loss rang like a victory bell. Now we're moving on, week 7's here. Fresh matchups, cold beer, and a little fear. So good luck, y'all, may your lineup shine bright. May your stars go off on Sunday night. But one last thing before we're done, good luck to everyone, but not you, Sean.